Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. As you can see, we have decided to bring out the extra cool factor tonight on the... Well, actually, to be fair, Barrett has also brought the cool factor because he's got a fancy-looking thing behind him. Like,
oh, yeah. Well, look at that.
Look at that.
It's a pile of sticks. It's so fancy.
Well, exactly. Dread Mumbo perfectly summed this up. Sunglasses, because the podcast is hosted in Hawaii. We are technically in Hawaii, all four of us.
Woo!
We're in, yeah, Barrett, I'm taking you to Hawaii now. Woo! As everyone does remember, of course, the World Championships this year is hosted in Hawaii, which is 9 hours behind us here in the UK and 10 hours behind in Europe, which must be fun like, to find out what's going on.
I love that the stream starts at 9 p.m.
Exactly.
Awesome.
It starts really late tomorrow. We'll share some more details with you on that one later. But of course, this is technically the finale of the first season of the London Corviknights podcast. Of course, I am your host, Iron Mac 404, Iron Crown's, well, least favourite thing. With me, as always, is the man who has better hair than Fluttermane. It's Barrett C9.
Hello.
And our special guests tonight, returning back from earlier episodes where they were guests, to the bottom left, you'll see the insanely talented Captain Oro, the winner of the Liverpool MSS. Hello. And to the right is the man who finished 13th in Liverpool that same weekend, KDVGC.
Hello.
Thank you for the claps, Barrett. Oh dear. But anyway, right. So let's crack on with tonight, because of course tonight is, I guess tonight is technically a roundtable discussion episode. Yes. Like, you know, this is the finale of Worlds. It is the end. This is the road. The road has finished. We are at the end of a very long journey, all the way in Hawaii. I've seen so many people who have qualified for Worlds talk about traveling nightmares. Shout out to KC, by the way, who found out last weekend that actually... So this is weird. Apparently, Pokemon had to re-look at people who qualified for Worlds. Like, they had to genuinely re-look at the overall standings on who qualified for Worlds and who didn't. Whether it's because there's some people who have been disqualified in between when NAIC finished and now... or whether there is some glitches in the system, apparently. But KCVGC was one of these people who basically got told last weekend, by the way, you've qualified for Worlds.
So
it's crazy.
He already knew?
No, he didn't know. No.
Wait, what? How? How did that...
He qualified for Worlds until last weekend. He got an email from the Pokemon company saying, congratulations, you've qualified as a World Championship competitor.
They're just giving it away.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Isn't that mad? So he flew from Austria all the way over to Hawaii. He actually managed to get there. So shout out to KC for actually making it to Hawaii on time for Pokemon World Championships. Absolute trooper. Considering the fact as well, last minute flights, last minute fees, numerous connecting flights that he himself on Twitter posted saying that he had less than 30 minutes to make. There was a moment where he had to get through customs at America. He had to get through security and then rejoin to go through security, get his bag checked, and onto another flight to Hawaii. Absolute madman.
Insane.
Like, absolute crazy. But again, well done, KC. Congratulations. Like, I have nothing but respect for you, my friend. Like, well done for getting to Worlds with that little notice. And like, I think questions need to be raised. Like, why was he notified with a week's notice?
I thought you were going to say that someone had been told they suddenly hadn't applied. Like, you know, it was going to be complete opposite. But to find out that you had, I don't even know how.
How do you with a week? Like, yeah. Do Pokemon Company generally believe Pokemon is real? Like, you know, oh, it's okay. Just grab your Dragonite. Like.
Especially if you don't want to be world champion. Last chance. We're going to do it next year.
Barrett believes the Pokemon Company's using the guilt tactic to make you turn up. Just like, oh well, you can turn up. I mean, if you cared. I was going to say, what's the average temperature in Hawaii right now?
I don't know.
Because isn't Hawaii on the equator?
Yeah, it's really, really hot. Like, especially in the middle of the day. It's like at least like 35 did it between 35 and 40. I think.
Plus,
at
what the
least,
humidity
in the full
levels
sun.
probably through
Yeah.
the roof.
Mm.
Like it's the equivalent of having all your torkoals out at once, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty much, yeah.
It's
yeah,
Torkoal
some
Island over
teams
there.
are enjoying there.
It's just Primal Groudon's made a reappearance, and that's all we have.
It's come back for Generation
He's
9.
hanging
let's
out
go.
in Hawaii right now.
yeah, they're all on the beach, mate. They're all on the beach.
It was like, did somebody say Gen 6? And everyone's like, oh, easy, Groudon. Easy,
Yeah.
Groudon.
While in the UK, we've got Primal Kyogre.
Oh yeah, I was literally about to comment about that. Like, well, it's really hot over there. Over here, like it's windy, it's raining. Like,
Yeah.
why don't you bring
It's
the
been-
World
it's been
Championships
tough.
back to London? Like,
Yeah, it was all. Did it go perfectly? This, I think it went alright. Yeah, we didn't mess anything up, did we?
I don't think we did. Did we?
I think we did.
If we did, just deny it.
Yeah.
That's very true. We'll do
track
we'll do the UK government route of avoiding the question.
We're already doing it right now.
Right. But actually, when you look at the figures, we did a really good job of everything else. And the figures is something I drew up earlier. They're not
And
real.
as you can see, they were like, as you can see, this is the most popular World Championship for 2 whole years straight.
The last time this World Championships was that popular was actually in London, and that's because I said that.
Yeah.
What European one? Nah.
No.
Nah.
That was better.
Oh
That was
dear.
better.
Right, so obviously tonight is a roundtable discussion about the Pokemon World Championships. All 4 of us will be discussing about Pokemon that we believe you should be on the lookout for when it comes to the World Championship this weekend. Who's got a good shot? Who's going to be slight underdogs, maybe? Because, you know, we kind of fought. Well, in a way, we kind of had a ballpark figure, didn't we? Like, at the end of NAIC, we kind of had this idea of, okay, who's going to be, like, the front runners? Who's going to be, like, the people to watch out for, the Pokemon to watch out for? And then Victory Road just made a couple of Road to Honolulu tournaments, and suddenly the table was flipped once again. I want to say it was the first one we didn't see a single top cut Terrapagos. Or Zamazenta teams. Like, it was all Callies, and Electabuzz got top cut.
Yep.
So, you know, the table's been flipped again. So I would definitely say within the last couple of months, I think everyone's feelings and thoughts has definitely been changed. I'll be very interested to hear what our folks here have. Obviously, guys in chat, the question is very simple. Name 6 Pokemon that are most likely to win World Championships this weekend. Captain Oro, KD, Barrett, and myself have some Pokemon that we have some thoughts. Well, obviously, Barrett, if you could keep a eye on chat for me while we go through this. I will start the ball. I will throw the ball into Captain Oro's part of the stream.
Cool.
I'm going to start with you, Captain Oro.
Do you want the full 6 or just one at a time?
Oh, Barrett, how are we doing this? Do we do the full 6 or one at a time? I think one at a time.
Go for one at a time, yeah, because we'll end up.
Oh, actually, yeah, we'll cross over a lot,
yeah.
wouldn't we?
So we'll go for it quicker that way.
Yeah. Okay, right. So yeah, Captain Oro, your first Pokemon that you believe has a decent shot at winning World Championships this weekend.
A decent shot of winning World Championship this weekend. I'm going to go with an absolute S tier Pokemon since it's came into the Pokemon games, and that is going to be Raging Bolt. And more, I'm going to say Booster Energy Raging Bolt. I'm going to say Booster Energy. I'm going to put that on there.
Ooh.
And then the AV variant, we're going to go offensive and be aggressive.
Okay, right. I'm just going to say this now. You've already... Yeah, that was one of my 6 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Completely agree with you. Yeah, what is it about Raging Bolt, Oro? I mean, you do have a lot of aura, don't get me wrong. What actually makes Raging Bolt just such a good Pokemon? Like, because I mean, I already agree with you as to why it's such a good Pokemon, but just let the people know, you know, why we picked this.
I mean, one, its typing Electric Dragon's already quite good. 2, Thunderclap, priority move. If you didn't know, Urshifu Rapid Strike was an absolute pain in everyone's fawn inside, and having a Thunderclap that can now KO it, and then you try and make Urshifu bulkier, so then you slap the booster energy on to give it the special attack boost, and then you just Thunderclap it once, is excellent, you know? but it doesn't just stop there. It does so much more damage to the rest of the field as well, where it practically can take over a game if not kind of dealt with properly. The amount of times I've gone to locals over the past month, faced the boost energy Raging Bolt, and you have to handle it appropriately, is ridiculous. It can literally destroy your team if you don't. So yeah, definitely, I feel like Raging Bolt's going to be up there. And if it doesn't win, it will be one of those Pokemon that we're all kind of speaking about in a few years. Like, it should have won a World Championship, but it didn't.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think it was a few episodes ago, Barrett, that we discussed, Raging Bolt being quite highly rated. I think it was actually when we were predicting the NAIC team, the fantasy weekend that was actually only exclusive to the Americans, which annoyed us a little bit. So we were like, no, we'll just have our own prediction, like whatever. And we put Raging Bolt on the team like pretty early on because it was, like you mentioned, it's just such a good Pokemon.
We've got quite a lot of Raging Bolt in the chat here as well. A lot of support for that.
A lot of support. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well done, chat. You're all our stars. Like, what? Good. It's good to know that we all have good tastes around here. But Raging Bolt. Like, I would actually be shocked if Raging Bolt is not a winner this weekend. I'm gonna go for saying that. I think when I put my 6 down, Raging Bolt was pretty much number 1 on my list. Like, because I feel like Raging Bolt could just support any form of team right now. Like, Calyrex Shadow Rider pretty much enjoys it. Terrapagos, Kyogres, Zamazentas, you name it. Raging Bolt can work on that team. It's a lad. It's the necky lad.
Is a lad.
Like,
He's a lad.
He's part of the lads, for goodness sake. So yeah, honestly, Captain Oro, fantastic first pick, and I completely agree with you. KD, let's throw it over to you then. What's your first Pokemon that isn't a Raging Bolt? If Raging Bolt was actually, is Raging Bolt on your 6?
No, it's not. It's not my
okay,
6.
okay. Right.
I'm gonna throw a crazy one here. I'm going for Galarian Weezing. So
yes,
This is one team that has been performing really, really well, and I hate facing it. It's this Weezing Galar team with Calyrex Shadow Rider, Mousehold, etc., etc. And that Weezing Galar surprisingly does extremely well because it shuts down all the abilities, etc., because of neutralizing gas. And of course, the fairy typing, you can resist all of Dark Urshifu's attacks, which is really, really nice. And it gets great support moves. It gets like Toxic Spikes to like stall out for the Dondozo in the back. It gets Taunt as well, so you kind of get like Spored, etc. Or you have Terra Ghost to not get faked out by Incineroar, etc. Or you put a Cobra Cloak on there. So I'm gonna go for my first pick being Galarian Weezing.
If Galarian Weezing actually ends up winning, please go do the lottery, Katie. But honestly, like it's so funny because I was looking at Galarian Weezing for a Regulation H team. Because I generally think Misty Terrain Galarian Weezing's going to actually be very annoying. But like you mentioned, KD, with just Regulation G, just Weezing can shut down a lot of things. Like the ability to have no ability, actually really beneficial. Like I'm sure Tom would agree with me with this. Like just the amount of things Weezing can throw about would be so frustrating for other people to deal with. And yeah, I think KD has a very valid point here. Just if you bring it's similar to the Pachirisu situation, right? You bring a Pokemon that's so out of field that no one's predicting it, no one's got a clue how to work with it, and Weezing can actually be so under the radar. And just it's like, hello. It's just, I'm Galarian Weezing. Just does a little dance.
It's like you face a prankster Pokemon, for instance, and you want to sit that they lead like Miraidon plus Whimsicott, and you just lead Galarian Weezing plus Calyrex Shadow, for instance.
Yeah.
They have no terrain and they have no prankster, so Whimsicott would just instantly just get KO'd by Calyrex.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a really, really good tech thing. For that.
Right in saying that as one doesn't get affected by neutralizing gas, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Because it's double ability, so benefits all round for the team.
I love that selection. That's a great pick right there. But yeah, Galarian Weezing. Jesus. Barrett, what's your next one?
So
that isn't a Raging Bolt or Galarian Weezing.
I wasn't expecting it to kind of work out this way, but I suppose both of your picks already kind of like helped to justify my one quite well. My one is Clefairy.
Yes.
And my reason being is because it being such a good counter to Raging Bolt right now, and because a lot of the time, very early on, in fact, I think even one of the first teams we really saw with Cataracts Shadow Rider had Clefairy on it, and it immediately solved a lot of the Trick Room problem that it had. And then it kind of later on ended up becoming used for this anti-Raging Bolt tech. And I just think having that Trick Room and Raging Bolt tech in one Pokemon, specifically in this format, I think it could definitely go, pretty far. I think it could probably win. Yeah, depending on, if it was slotted into the right team at the right time.
I want to say that team you mentioned, because Pokey Replay, shout out to Pokey Replays, by the way. Pokey Replays played that team, didn't he?
Yes.
And I want to say it was Wolfglick who came up with that team and won a Limitless tour, I think, with it.
Yes, he did the first one, I think.
It was a money tour, I think. It was quite big.
Really
so
early,
he
wasn't it?
won
I want to
that
say it was
one, yeah.
even like first week of the regulation being announced, and we saw a solution already. To one of the questions that everyone had on their minds was just how it was Calyrex Shadow Rider going to survive Trick Room situations. And yeah, like Barrett mentioned, Clefairy is the perfect partner. Just absolutely star, really, isn't it? It's kind of, it's an interesting one, isn't it, with Clefairy, because we've always seen in no matter the generation it is, Clefairy doesn't really look like a Pokemon that you should really be using for VGC purposes.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at it and it's just like, okay, you're clearly you're playing with me because you clearly can't be bothered to fully evolve your Clefairy into a Clefable. But this Clefairy, with the Friend Guard ability, is Friend Guard like a top 10 all-time Pokemon ability?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, specifically because it can go onto Pokemon that can hold EV like Clefairy. I think just like that added bulk on bulk on bulk is particularly good in this single restricted format when you just know, well, I don't necessarily need two Pokemon. Like, if one of your restricted goes down in a double restricted format, you're cool, aren't you? You've got another one that you can rely on. But in this, you have to rely so heavily on it that just being able to say, oh, you're going to Trick Room, I'm going to Nasty Plot, and then just be fine is just such a powerful tech to do in a single restricted format, I think.
The other thing, I don't know if many people know this, but obviously if you set Reflect with a Pokemon, Surging Strike still does the same amount of damage. If you have Friend Guard on the field, however, it does not. I ran the calcs multiple times. I was like, this is stupid.
I did not know that.
It's
That's crazy.
I think it's because Friend Guard applies to the different side of the stat. It's like it applies to the base stats, not the end stat. Like a stat buff normally goes on the end stat or something. Yeah. Lots
of love for Clefairy as well. Manny, hello Manny, how are you doing? Been using Clefairy at events, it's so good. Honestly, Clefairy, throughout time, I think Clefairy definitely should get a shout out to be if there was ever a Pokemon VGC Hall of Fame, Clefairy would definitely go in it, and everyone would just be like,
for
why?
Sure.
Just be, it's an interesting one to think about, just like a Pokemon that's not even fully evolved, and people are like, no, don't evolve it.
Yeah, they're like, keep that little pink fluff ball.
Yes,
exactly
literally.
How it's stronger.
The supposed original mascot of Pokemon.
I mean, it's already won, 2 or 3 regionals this season?
Yes.
One Terrapagos run with Calyrex, and it won with something else, maybe, I think. So, it's
was it Miraidon?
It's done really well.
Was it Miraidon?
It's done really well, yeah. Could be.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, honestly, great pick, Clefairy. Right, it's my turn, I guess. Right.
Yes.
My next one that isn't a Raging Bolt, Galarian Weezing, or a Clefairy, I've put down Pelipper. I actually think might actually be the year we see a Pelipper become a world champion.
I
really want this to be true. I think the story of Pelipper is worth it. And also Pelipper as a Pokemon is fantastic. Most restricted Pokemon, has that spread move the signature spread move that wants to like destroy everything, and Pelipper's like, not on my watch.
Or it just like switches in and it does nothing or something like that because it's a ground move or something.
Yeah,
silly.
literally. Like, Pelipper is pretty much a fantastic friend. Like, gets up the rain, gets rid of like sun. It's a flying type as well, so like it can help deal with Rillabooms if you're having a tough time with those. Weather Ball, Hurricane, Wide Guard, Tailwind.
Yeah, it's
like
great.
Pelipper's a
moveset.
fantastic Pokemon. Like, and it's surprisingly bulky too. Like, it surprisingly survives a fair amount of stuff, which I didn't think it would.
The
Like,
funny thing about putting something like the 20 EVs in defense, because it's like it has the calc living in its own reign to Urshifu, is just like the funniest optimization on Pelipper that I've ever seen.
right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I think, like, just in general, I feel like Pelipper, just as we've seen throughout this regulation, especially at NAIC, like, Pelipper really showed just how valuable it is. Like, how
that
actually
finals was crazy.
right, the finals of NAIC, in my opinion, proved that everyone looked at Pelipper and went, I need to take that bird more seriously.
Oh, 100%.
Like, the weather ball damage, the hurricane damage was
The Wide Guard.
surprisingly overwhelming for some players.
Just imagine how that Pelipper felt when everyone screamed as it came out of the Pokeball.
Yeah,
For the first time ever.
Like,
in game 3 too. That was crazy.
right? So that's literally how I feel about Pelipper. I think this year we're going to see Pelipper as a world champion. I really do. Like, so that's my pick for Pelipper. Pelipper, I'm the better Drizzlemon here.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just had two great Pokemon, one after each other, because they have the best sound effects in the noise.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
Beep, and then the like, they're my two favorite Pokemon. I don't care if my opponent throws them out and they come out. I'm always like, beep, beep.
You're like, if they said the Clefairy now and they actually win the game, this actually ruins my life. They do it, you're like, oh.
Oh yeah, no, it's just just if your opponent starts making the sound effects, you have to be like, you are a true gamer, sir.
Yeah.
She starts doing the little hand wave as well.
Yeah.
It's got to win. It's got to win. Come on.
Guys. Oh dear. Right, the ball is back with you, Captain Oro. So name a Pokemon that has been mentioned already.
I am going to go with a fire type. Probably one of the stronger fire types that started to make a resurgence in the format since it's come back. It is Volcarona.
Ooh.
Okay.
Very
Okay.
cool.
So
I like that.
I've seen it quite a few times. I played against it on certain people who I know are going to Worlds, so I know it's at Worlds with a certain team. I'm not going to dupe them in and give people inside scoop, but
Barrett, start hacking. Come on.
It's very, very strong, especially in the right team, and people who know how to pilot it are very, very efficient at piloting it. It just has such great answers into a lot. Obviously, the Quiver Dance set allows you to take a few more hits from the restricted format that is predominantly special attackers. They're always kind of up there. Obviously, Calyrex Ice is probably the standout physical attacker this turn round. But I just think it has a great kind of chance to be on a winning team, or at least top four. I would say.
I think you've made a very good point, because actually, from what I can remember from the past episodes that me and Barrett have done, as we've gone through the entirety of Regulation G, like, I think me and Barrett have gone around the world doing Regulation G via Victory Road. Like, there has been a fair number of Volcaronas in Top Cut. Like, and it's always a joy to see Volcarona in Top Cut, like, regardless. But I do agree with you, Captain Aura. I think, if we're used in the right situation on the right team, Volcarona is going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. I think Volcarona stats are very good already, Like, but when you use that quiver dance and, you know, you'd be able to keep that bulk and just struggle bug everyone, like, you're going to shut down a fair amount of people. Like, at EUIC, we had a what you call the Chaos Cup thing. And my friend was using one with Volcarona on it. And all he had to do was +1, did one quiver dance, and his opponent just struggled to get rid of it the entire match. It was fantastic to watch.
And it's interesting as well. Like Kylos here in the chat is saying you could use Volcarona with Clefairy. So that's another thing. You know, he's got that follow me with the quiver dance.
It has one regional, so it is really
no,
strong.
it is true. Yeah, there was that one Barrett. I don't know if you remember, but it was the team which had Volcarona, Clefairy, and another follow me user on there. Like there was like 3 follow me's. Yeah. I can't remember which one it was. It definitely won a national. It won a.
It was like Ogerpon, Water, and Clefairy, and Indeedee, I think.
I think so.
No, it was Terrapagos, Volcarona, Tornadus, Ogerpon, and
that's right. Sorry, yeah, Ogerpon.
Incineroar.
Yeah, it was the Volcarona could have been the redirector. That could have been the third one. That was it. But we didn't know the open team sheet. I don't think at the time of the episode.
Victory Road didn't have the open team sheet, unfortunately. For them. It definitely won a couple of the Asian nationals. I don't know which one. I'm afraid. Like, I'll name a random Asian country if you want.
Malaysia? I think it might have been Malaysia.
I think Thailand. Let's go with Thailand.
There we go.
But yeah, no, honestly, I completely agree with Captain Aura. I think, you know, Volcarona, like, be careful. Volcarona is coming.
Coming.
Yeah, just, I can't really say anything more about that because I think you summed it up quite nicely, Aura. KD, what's your next one? What's joining Galarian Wheezing as a chance? Like, I can't wait for this.
I'm gonna go for another sort of support Pokemon. It's from a different team. I'm gonna go for Grimmsnarl. So
yes,
Grimmsnarl, you know, as in these restricted formats, has done really, really well. In like previous formats, also, you know, this year's NEIC as well, got 2nd place. So I think Grimmsnarl is definitely something to look out for because, you know, having screens, having Thunderwave, etc., and having Spirit Break, even like Fake Out, etc. It's really, really good, and having those 8 turns of screens can really help you know, survive a lot more hits, etc., and also provide your team with a lot more the supportive tools that it needs to win from your opponent, etc.
I completely agree with that one. I'm kind of surprised in a sense that we've only seen maybe I would like well, basically I think, you know, we haven't seen enough Grimmsnarl this regulation is basically what I'm trying to say. You know, we saw the Umbreon do incredibly well during that one regional in America. I think it was LA. There was that, you know, Umbreon that kind of ripped through teams and was very, very, very persistent in it. You know, Grimmsnarl, I feel like, has pretty much just shown what it could do really well. Of course, Captain Aura, you yourself gave us a fantastic team review as to your Grimmsnarl with Liverpool, and shown that in the past formats, Grimmsnarl has done what it has done for good reason. And everyone should be on the lookout for it. And yeah, I do agree with UKD. I think Grimmsnarl's another good pick. I think, you know, like you mentioned, the 8 turns of screens is so valuable because not a lot of Pokemon are running moves that gets rid of barriers. If I think about it rightly, like Urshifu's not really running Brick Break. You know, there's no. I can't even think of other. I don't think many people are running that. Yeah. Like, to be fair, I don't think we remembered even Psychic Fangs was a move until we did that Metagross team building episode. Yeah, that's... So, you know, it's like, that's a thing. And stuff, Solgaleo and stuff gets it, but like, who's really going to run Solgaleo at Worlds? But I mean, it could be an interesting pick, but I don't think Solgaleo's really going to do that well. But Solgaleo now wins Worlds. If that's true, I'm coming back to this, clipping your... saying it's not going to win. And then just doing the Oh dear. But yes, no,
I'll
another
just
great.
gift a bunch of subs if that happens. Just like,
Amazing.
Right. So, Barrett,
Yes.
your turn next. While you talk about yours, I'm just going to adjust something on my PC. So, yeah, Barrett, what's your next Pokemon, bud?
Not a problem. So, my next Pokemon, I mean, do I give it up early? Do I start going in for the obvious ones? Let's not go for the super obvious. But I'm going to say Amoonguss might win Worlds this year. I was going to say a different Pokemon, but I'm going to go with Amoonguss because I think that when given the strongest players are in a field at once, Amoonguss tends to come out on top. Although there are some other grass types that I'm not going to talk about right now that might be in the top contending spot. I do believe that it's the skill level of those Amoonguss players that really sets them out on top of the other ones. And there are, I think, Terra Grass will probably be quite a good thing to look out for as well. So Amoonguss players might have to be a bit wary of that. But people are adapting with the Sludge Bomb anyway. So I think that, you know, Amoonguss always tends to shine through. So I'm going to say Amoonguss for now.
That's it's Amoonguss, isn't it? Like, when is that thing never? I think the only generation we ever saw Amoonguss not really as prominent was Generation 8, because Dynamax was such a broken mechanic.
yeah, I mean, Amoonguss will just die in one turn, pretty much.
Yeah, it was like max airstream. Oh, don't worry, I'll use my copper bet. It's like, nah. Good luck with that. Yeah, no, I'm not exactly surprised. I think we've already discussed in the past about Amoonguss actually has a shot of being a... Oh, yeah, there we go. So, yeah, Amoonguss has a shot this year to become a 4-time champion.
Ooh.
Which it shares the honor with a few others as having now...
Incineroar?
Yeah,
I think.
Incineroar is one of them. Salamence, I think, is another one. But the chances of seeing a Salamence is close to zilch, I would say.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. I want to say there's one more. Oh, Thunderous is the other one.
Thunderous. For some reason, I thought it was going to be
Okay.
Tyranitar, but no, I don't think that even would. That's probably not going to chance this year. I'm sorry.
It was Thunderous before it got nerfed with T-Wave.
That's right.
Oh
Yeah.
Because T-Wave just landed every time.
Like, actually crazy,
yeah.
wasn't it? Just the fact that it was just like, do you know what? I think we could... Nah, just T-Wave.
Yeah, everything just got paralyzed. I'm glad I wasn't playing back then because I think I would have probably broken some things.
Yeah,
paralyzed that many
same.
times. But
I remember watching. I think it was. I can't remember which year Worlds it was. I think it was the one where. Oh no! It was the one where it was they called it the Sleep World final. Because the guy who was using his Amoonguss literally put his opponent's team to sleep, like all of them, in both games, and everyone called it like the most boring world final ever.
Aww.
Like, because like in both games, his Amoonguss literally just spawned everything. But it's like, that's what happens. Like, if you let a Pokemon do that.
They got all the way to Worlds, and they didn't have a cutter for a Amoonguss. I suppose it was probably back in the day, right? Like,
oh yeah, this was Black and White.
Oh right, so this was like when
Black and White
first
2?
discovered
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Very long time ago.
They hadn't invented safety goggles yet.
No, no.
And also, grass types weren't immune to Spore back then. I just remembered, so that is broken. Yeah.
That's crazy. You just spore your own Amoonguss. Yeah, you get spored first.
Yeah, just go to sleep, mate.
I think was that the reason why they were running like level 49 Amoonguss to underspeed other Amoongusses under Trick Room or something?
Probably.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Also, I just love the fact that we have has sentence of Captain Oro just saying they haven't invented safety goggles yet. Like, imagine telling people, like, it's such a sentence. I love it.
Hey, guys, you guys are living in the future with your safety goggles.
Yeah, you guys are living
Exactly.
back in our days. We only had the headphones.
We all got our goggles on, man.
We had to deal with gems and.
These goggles aren't just for safety goggles, though.
Yo, guys, what if we actually put the sunglasses and actually turn them into safety goggles? Like, it's gonna be crazy.
Just paint them red. Let's have the red shades, and then we have full safety goggles on.
There's like permanent weather, and they go, we should have some kind of glasses item that prevents like all of the really dominant things right now. And they go, glasses that you put on to stop you from going to sleep. Yes, that's obviously what you mean.
It's this insomnia glasses. We should have that.
I just realised, why are they goggles? What the hell?
Oh, I want to be a fly on the wall in those meetings in Pokemon.
Goggles are like secure around your face, aren't they? So they're not glasses. Because then
That's a good point.
powder would sleep through.
Yeah,
If we're
you breathe in the powder.
You breathe in, yeah?
Nah, bro. Yeah, the glasses just absorb all the all the powder.
Safety mask? Maybe. Yeah.
Incineroar's there wearing his safety goggles like this.
Yeah. He's got
He's just wearing a mask, just gets his mask before the sleep powder.
He's like, guys, the mask goes over the nose.
Oh god.
We brought it back to COVID.
Sorry.
Uh,
Oh my god. Yes. I am all for this. Just like, yeah. Bring up safety mask, like, and then introduce the safety dance to everyone.
he's
He's so good. Right, back on track. Yeah, Amoonguss is Amoonguss. Like, I think Amoonguss is going to be a threat no matter what generation it is. Like, I think the introduction of Miraidon, like, yeah, sure, slowed it down, but like, Amoonguss is still a great teammate. Like, yeah, just 252, 252.
That's great. It's great spread.
Great spread, fantastic spread.
Delicious.
Just buttered it up. Right, I actually, I'm just going to bring up Incineroar. Like,
Just cat's out the bag now.
I think, yeah, the
It's,
cats. We've already talked about Incin. We might as well just go full hog on it.
Yeah.
There is never going to be a year where Incineroar is not going to be up there as likely to win. Throughout Regulation G, like, yeah, it took you long enough. Chat pretty much calling us out there. Incineroar has entered the chat. Like, yeah, it's Incineroar. Like, name the things it can do, right? So Flare Blitz, Fake Out, Knockoff, Parting Shot, Snarl, Will-O-Wisp. Like, the amount of things Incin can do, like its typing, its bulk, its ability to just shut teams down, switch out, shut them down even more, slap them more because he can do that. Like, literally, like, Incineroar is literally the Giga Chad. Like, he will literally just turn up, just slap you, go off for 2 minutes, come back, intimidate you again. But, oh, by the way, it gets Intimidate. Like, you know, and then slaps you again with another Fake Out because he's told you off already for the first one. He's just like, I thought I told you not to do that.
I love how, like, go on, Captain Aura.
I literally played in a local, and one of my games was literally that. Was just literally go, nasty plot, Incineroar, Fake Out onto that slot so you can't do anything, then protect, pivot out, bring the Incineroar back in so you're intimidated again, and then nasty plot. And I was like, I got to like +6, and my opponent just went, yeah, no, just run away on that one.
Yeah. Incineroar is...
I clicked nasty plot twice and Fake Out 3 times and protect twice, and then they
Oh my god.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's Incin. Like, a Big Boy Blue here has just summed up another thing. Just one of the a few fire types that can actually be used in the rain. There's nothing that's going to stop Incin. Absolutely nothing. Like, just the idea of just, like, TikTok videos that they make, like, where they're, like, hyping up characters, they do that with Incin. It's just Incin does Fake Out and everyone's like...
I'm surprised I haven't seen more, like, Giga Chad style like TikToks of Incineroar, and it's like, who would win, Arcanine, Incineroar, and then it's just like Incineroar dominating in every category. You know, like those Aaron Yeager versus like Rainer like Alpha Chad posts from Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah, no, like, you know, I'm not being funny, but Incineroar would absolutely go into every anime universe and probably destroy most of them.
Yeah,
like
Everyone's got Faked Out, Parting Shot, he's out of here.
He's,
See you, and
no,
then comes
he's
back,
like, he fakes out
again.
Goku, right? But then he Parting Shots into Attack on Titan. Like, Fake Out's Levi, Fake Out, you know, and then Parting Shots into... and then he Parting Shots into Bleach.
I'm the strongest soldier, you are nothing.
My Incineroars win! My Incineroars strive!
Oh my god.
Oh my god, now I'm just picturing Instant on a horse.
I'm not gonna lie, I think Levi's got inner focus, right?
Yeah, does Levi have inner focus, guys? Like,
I'm sure.
Probably. I'd say so.
if not, he's holding the covert cloak. Actually, is he holding covert cloak?
He's got
He
COVID.
is holding a cloak. He is technically holding.
He's
a cloak,
technically
so
holding covert
that's
cloak. Like,
fair.
Oh,
You don't.
but yeah, so Incineroar, like, there is nothing. I feel like there's nothing that's going to stop Incin. I think Incin is going to be the very first 4-time world champion. He's going to be the very first back-to-back world champion in every time he's been legal in a world championship format. It's Incin. I cannot. If there has got to be a serious amount of fortune to not have Incin as a world champion.
It has to be.
And they keep buffing it every time too.
Exactly.
Like every time
They keep saying, "Don't worry, we'll nerf it. We'll nerf it."
Now
It
he
gives
gets
it new
knockoff. I'm
tools.
like, okay, great. Now you want your safety goggles? No, they're gone now. Goodbye.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, now you can go back to sleep.
Yeah, and it's like,
It's
but we got,
crazy.
we have a clear amulet for you to hold. It's like, that's nice, but like,
Too bad.
too bad. But like, you've given him more stuff to do.
Yeah.
And since like,
You've got,
everyone's dropping this really cool stuff.
You've got Big Boy Blue in the chat saying Incin's actually the reason that Ash was champion. So there you go.
There we go.
All right, there we go. Yeah.
Very true.
Ash actually did some VGC training for once.
Yeah, it's like, I'll get one good guy.
Finally.
Finally.
Yeah.
Oh my lord! Right, Oro, please save us from the Incin conversations and him jumping into numerous animes.
I was going to go with one of my weirder choices, but let's counter Incin and say Urshifu Rapid Strike.
Oh,
Hey,
of course.
there we go.
Yeah,
The boy that can handle the master of the gen, and we complain about both of them so much because they're so good. And then you pair it with Raging Bolt, and then we're all crying. We're just there, like, these 3 Pokemon, literally, you have them on a team, plus, like,
Counter
something
each
else.
other.
You
Yeah.
just counter everything. Like you were saying with the Among Us, like, some of the top players will be using these Pokemon because they are the best tools, you know, so they are going to be high in usage stats and everything. And hopefully, I would love to see a very like diverse team, something special, like Senju's Pachirisu come through and win some the worlds or get to at least to the top 4 or finals, because that's always like a special moment when we have those special Pokemon. But we have to admit, when there's good Pokemon there, the good players are going to pick them up because they're the most consistent.
It's the reason why it's a lad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for anyone who needs clarity over like what actually qualifies as a lad, it is basically a Pokemon that's so good and so overused that it pretty much fits any team whatsoever. So I
Yeah.
want to say the lads we have is Urshifu, Rillaboom, Raging Bolt, Incin.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing one. Am I missing one, Barrett?
So Iron Hand, right? The lads that I am fully aware of are Iron Hands, Incineroar. I would say Arcanine, old Arcanine, not Hisuian Arcanine as much, but maybe Hisuian Arcanine, but old Arcanine, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Regieleki, Raging Bolt,
Oh, okay.
and Grimmsnarl.
So no Fluttermane.
Fluttermane's one of the lads.
Yeah.
Fluttermane. Well,
Fluttermane is Generation
Fluttermane
9
is
pretty
one of-
much.
Yeah.
Fluttermane's
Yeah.
like-
Oh, yeah.
a
Yeah.
cheerleader who is just one of the guys. You know, she's like everyone's best mate. Ursula kind of likes her, but she doesn't like him. She kind of likes Iron Hands.
Oh,
He's a big
God.
guy. he has assault vest. You know, he can handle that. You know, so yeah. But she comes and goes. She comes and goes. You know,
She ran choice scarves.
she gets banned.
No.
You know what I mean? She's not allowed. It's lads. You know, sometimes they just got to have a night. Just the lads.
It's just a retelling of Skater Boy here. Like, let's be honest.
Is it because you don't want to pick Fluttermane because of the hair competition?
Hey. I think that's possible. I have a Fluttermane plush. We could compare if you want.
Regulation H is for hair, okay? And ours, no fun.
They banned Fluttermane.
Oh dear. But yeah, no. Going back to the Urshifu Rapid Strike. Yeah, you're completely valid in that. opinion. Also, people I think should be remembered that Among Us and Urshifu actually won last year at Worlds with the Fluttermane, Lando, Iron Hands, and Shen Pao team. That also consisted, of course, of Urshifu and Among Us. So, Urshifu already coming through with, some good experience going into this season, going into this year. And I think this year we've really seen Urshifu. I actually want to say both forms this year have performed very well, but I definitely think in terms of this regulation, like Rapid Strike definitely has a bit more fortune going for it rather than Single Strike. KD, you and myself know very well how well Single Strike Urshifu worked for us back in Liverpool, and EUIC as well. But yeah, definitely with Regulation G, I definitely think, Urshifu Rapid Strike, probably the most favoured water type that isn't a restricted to come into this World Championships to try and get another crown. Probably, it could potentially become a back-to-back winner. It'll be interesting to see if it does. But I think, obviously I think it's going to have a very strong chance considering the probably the only other non-legendary water type out there would probably be Ogerpon, right? Unless and Dondozo, if anyone's still running Tatsuguri Dondozo in Regulation G.
Oh, dang.
I think Ogerpon is probably better, I'd say, than Dondozo. Probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that one. I think that's a really solid pick. KD, what's your next wild one? Like, go on.
It's okay. It's not that wild. I'm gonna go back on a little bit on main course here. I have Rillaboom.
Yes.
Of course, we have the Rillaboom Incin and Urshifu course, etc. I think it's really, really strong. Rillaboom has great bulk, an insane attack, has the move pool to support your team really, really well with Fake Out, with U-Turn, with Wood Hammer, etc., doing tons of damage. And yeah, I think overall Rillaboom is just it's really, really good. Overrides the terrain for opposing Rhydons, etc. Does really well into most, I think, restricted Pokemon, except maybe for like Calyx Ice and maybe like Zamazenta, etc. But for the rest, I think it's a really, really good Pokemon.
I actually was, when you were describing Rillaboom there, I kind of had a thought in my head of, I don't know if people remember back in Sword and Shield when Rillaboom was introduced and it got like grassy terrain, and there wasn't any grassy surge move announced. And we were all looking at Rillaboom being like, so what do we do with you? Like,
and then boom.
Yeah, literally just like, okay, Fake Out and just, well, I brought the terrain with me.
Yeah.
Look at this nice grass that all of us can touch. Rillaboom's definitely up there, right? Like, it's a lad. It's won numerous regionals this year. It's won numerous nationals as well. I can't probably predict how many locals it's won around the world. I definitely remember seeing quite a few British local results coming through with Rillaboom on it. I think the thing that made me laugh the most actually with Rillaboom was I can't remember which regional it was. It was definitely one of the regionals. But I remember saying to Barrett, I was watching the final and Rillaboom was about to use Wood Hammer on its opponent. But because of how Pokemon Gen 9 has always had a bit of like issues with its animations or like graphics.
Oh yeah.
It was a woodless hammer.
Yeah,
like,
it just had no wood.
Like it just summoned this black hammer that just donked its opponent and disappeared, and everyone and the commentary team had to be like, "Oh, it's using Wood Hammer," and you can hear them stop for like a millisecond, being like, "What, a hammer?"
It was English hammer.
Hammer time?
Yeah, literally, because there was no actual like texture on it, so everyone was just like, "Uh-oh."
That's good. It was so good. It didn't even have the wood on it.
It didn't need the wood. It already had the hammer. It just it's one of the hammer bros from Mario. Just like, yo, bro, look what I can do.
he's one of the bros now. Let's go.
Well, he's a very lad. He's one of the crucial lads, I would say as well. Yeah, honestly, like I think Rillaboom's another one, isn't it? Where it's just, if you don't win a world championship, I'm going to be very surprised, actually. Like, your the team composition to stop the Rillaboom must be something. Considering I am actually predicting Rillaboom to quite what was it NEIC? It was joint highest with Incin in terms of usage, like 46%.
Probably,
both of them.
They put coming down to the decimal point
Yes.
for the difference between Rillaboom and Incin, and even then I think Rillaboom was winning by quite a bit at some points as well. Rillaboom was it was on 50% of teams, which is quite high at the moment, because the spread of the good Pokemon is actually really wide right now, considering it is quite centralized. It is still quite a lot of good Pokemon. And
bearing in mind as well, like, it's not actually been that long since we saw success for Rillaboom, because Rillaboom, of course, did win the 2022 World Championships. It was the only starter that won the Worlds that year, famously defeating Charizard in the final of the 2022 World Championships, which was hilarious to see, considering the amount of times they've tried to get Charizard into that list of World Championship Pokemon and just nothing's worked.
Every time gets denied at the door.
It's so funny. It's just like, we'll give it 2 Megas, doesn't win Worlds. Like, we'll give it one of the most broken Dynamax forms. It's like, nah, that's not gonna work either, bud.
Nah, I'd win. If Thunderous said nah, I'd win.
Yeah.
Also, Big Boy Blue mentioning both NEIC and Bologna. It was crazy stuff for them. Rillaboom's definitely up there though, like 100%. I remember a lot of people were trying to make the argument that Ogerpon was going to be the new Rillaboom, and it's like, no, like,
nah.
Ogerpon does something completely different to what Rillaboom provides. Like, they're completely different Pokemon. You can't, unless you're going to give us a pseudo legendary that does the exact same thing Rillaboom does, I can't see us replacing Rillaboom for a very, very long time. I think Rillaboom's around here for the long haul, for as long as it's legal, obviously. Like, being a starter Pokemon, it's not going to be around every single regulation. But while we have it, I think we should be cherishing it, and obviously I think a lot of people do. So yeah, a very solid pick, KD. Like, I'm not surprised you picked that, mate. Barrett, what's your next one?
All right. So we're thinning them down now. Now that we got past a lot of the main lads.
I have not
many left. One of the last
left.
ones I had was for Rigoroth, because that's a guy who's been doing some seriously good stuff on teams at the moment, and it does slot into quite a lot of teams quite well, I would say.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Like, I think what you've seen as well is not only can it fit on a lot of teams, but you can actually use it in a very, very good amount of ways. I want to say, obviously the defense boosting electric terrain version, with the Miraidon teams having that +1 in defense, and then just foul play and everything.
And it's another one of those Pokemon that is a little bit like a fairy, where it kind of facilitates that really strong guy so well, like with the fact that it could do the Terra Ground helping hand stuff, and it, like, even getting rid of its own items so that it doesn't have to terrestrialize just to live knockoff and stuff like that is so. I mean, the adaptation, it's one of those Pokemon that people went, this is gonna do good. We just have to try hard enough, and then if you try hard enough, it works.
Sorry, I feel like I interrupted you, Captain Oro, earlier. Please say what you were going to say.
I feel like it's always like, when I'm looking at the team builder, it's like, oh, I need a Trick Room answer. Oh, I need something to stop priority. I need something to just help the team just do a bit more damage. It's like Rigoroth. It gives me a lot of tools on the team. And then it's like, when I played it at Liverpool, I played an offensive aggressive version. I made it sure that my Rigoroth was faster than most Incins, so I would get the throat spray off. Like you were saying, you drop the item, that knockoff isn't doing too much anymore. So then you're kind of like, oh, I don't need to Terra because I'm outspeeding you.
No,
so
exactly.
It's really handy.
I think just in the back of my head when we mentioned like stopping priority with its ability, just back to that conversation about Incineroar parting shot into different anime universes, like just having Farigarath in every anime universe to prevent Incin from doing what it wants.
I just had this thought of, like, this anime where Insinn just parting shots into another universe and it just causes chaos and then parting shots into another universe. That's brilliant.
Like you can even do it for the MCU, like just the multiverse saga. Like you need a replacement for Kang, right? Like get rid of Kang. Here you go. Have Insinn. Like
Incineroar. That's what it's got to be. Yeah.
How many of Ant-Mans have I killed? How many flare blitzes have I hit into Iron Man today?
Oh my god! How many times have I faked out Iron Man?
Yeah. How many times have I faked out Captain America and like knocked off Scarlet Witch?
He got Scarlet Witch.
Oh, because she's a psychic type, so she's
Doctor Strange would easily be an Oko because he's a psychic dark type or ghost type rather.
Easy.
Like so good into every event.
They announced new Robert Downey Jr. returning, and it's actually the real villain. It's Incineroar returning into the universe.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Right, when the next regulation comes out, if we ever have a gap where Incin's not legal, and then he comes back, we need to use the Robert Downey Jr. returning meme.
Yeah.
Just replace his face with Incin. And like takes off the mask, it's Incineroar, and everyone's like,
"That's so good." Oh my god!
Everybody's saying like, "No."
it's so good. Incin memes are going to go up, folks. It's so much fun. But yeah, so I think Farigiraf is very much up there as well. But I think Farigiraf is an interesting one, right? Because like as you mentioned, it's pretty much an answer to Trick Room teams, helps deal with Trick Room as well. But like I don't know, it's just more considering every team is going to have at least 1 or 2, maybe even 3 members of the lads on their squad. I don't know, will they fear sort of Trick Room? Because I think historically, if I remember this correctly, there has never been a Trick Room team that has won Worlds.
No, we've been wanting it. We're hankering for a Trick Room win.
I think, it's definitely hankering, but also at the same time, like the bottle's gonna burst, right? Like there's only so much amount of worlds that people could be like, oh well, this is gonna be the year, this is gonna be the year. It's just like it's gonna happen eventually, but will it be this year?
Like, what Big Boy Blues has actually just corrected us there. The first 2 were actually Trick Room, but I don't feel like I remember that. I think they might have looked like they were Trick Room, but like they had Cresselia and a lot of those slow Pokemon on it. But was it actually Trick Room?
Might have to invest.
Potentially the 2 Ray teams. To be fair, actually all 3 Ray teams might have had Trick Room option.
But they weren't hard Trick Room teams, were they?
Yeah, that's kind of what we're saying.
KRX Ice is a hard Trick Room team. You can't run that like in any other way. Not like, do you know what I mean? I think
that's what I was trying to say.
Was what we mean when we say.
Yeah, so like your team is built specifically for hard Trick Room.
Yeah, like a lot of teams now have a Pokemon with Trick Room on it, but like that could be to reverse Trick Room, or it could just be to imprison Trick Room and stuff like that. There's a lot of, or just because sometimes if they've set up Tailwind, you could just set up Trick Room as a new tech. Yeah.
Sorry, Big Boy Blue. I didn't make that clear. Yeah, hard Trick Room teams is what I meant. Like we've not seen a hard Trick Room team win Worlds. Farigiraf is definitely a very viable Trick Room option for people. We could potentially see it this year actually happen. It'd be interesting to see what happens, but like, the ball's there, right? Like, it's whether you're going to be willing to take the ball and run to the end zone, or in Trick Room's case, pick up the ball, set up Trick Room, and then run to the end zone.
And then run backwards into the end zone.
Katie's like, Trick Room's ended, and you're, oh, right, I'll set it up again. And I'm only 10 yards away from it.
Katie's like, Trick Room's up, and he's like, no, it's not.
No,
I reversed
Trick Room again. Yeah, I think the nice thing also about Farigiraf, with this new move it got, Psychic Noise, you can prevent a lot of stuff from like healing, etc. Like Iron Hand's Drain Punch just doesn't work. Things like Pollen Puff on other Pokemon doesn't work. So it's a really nice thing to like shut down those Dondozas also from like, getting leftovers back, which is also a really, really nice thing I got in the new DLC.
No, exactly. Like it's going to be very interesting. Like, I could definitely see Farigiraf in the top cut. I
Yeah.
think we will see Frigoraf in Top Cut. I think it's going to be a case of how well do the players perform in those crucial final rounds. Yeah. Oh, let's say psychic noise completely ruins my angry monkey.
Yep.
Annihilate. No, imagine Annihilate getting angry.
That's it.
That's a hard thing. Right.
It's just a shame.
I think because of the sake of time, I'm going to say my one, and then if you guys say whatever's left and just summarize what you have.
Oh yeah, sure.
Only because I'm actually running out of Pokemon.
Me too.
The other one I've got left is my restricted, and well, actually, I think it is actually literally my restricted. So I'm going to throw it to Captain Oro then, because I want to do a separate round of our restricted, or which restricted we're going to potentially pick. So Captain Oro, your remaining Pokemon that we haven't mentioned, what ones have you got?
So remaining ones, my odd pick was Ditto.
Oh yeah.
Everybody loves a Ditto, even though I can't play it myself. Whenever I play Ditto, I'm terrible. But everybody loves seeing the Ditto appear, and then we've got 3 Iron Hands on the field. And my other one was Blood Moon Ursaluna.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just so tricky to deal with. The Blood Moons, the Hyper Voices, paired with Frigoraf, Helping Hand. Thank you very much, K. Everything off the field.
Do you remember when we saw the rumor of Blood Moon Ursaluna, and all of us were like, "That's definitely fan. That's definitely fan."
Yeah. Got a move called Blood Moon.
Like,
That's
it's
ridiculous.
called Pokemon actually agreed to name a Pokemon Blood Moon.
Yeah.
Like, what is this like Vampire Knight rubbish?
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say, do you remember a time when we had peace in the Pokemon world before?
And that
it's
never was
Aurora
that.
Blood Moon?
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god.
No.
I mean, to be fair, it was crazy enough that they introduced Ursaluna, right? And then they were like, "See, that's not crazy enough. We could go crazier. Like, we could go
Another
crazier.
one.
Like, what if I made it listen to 90s heavy metal bands? Like, I'll throw it like just you go up to an Ursaluna and say, "Hey, listen to this cool new band. They're called My Chemical Romance." Like, it's just like, whoa, this is totally me. Like,
It was the fact that they just kind of went, here's Ursaluna. Now it has to burn itself before it can do a real damage. But this guy is not even
this
slow
one.
as well.
This
If you put
guy
it into
here.
you can put it in Tailwind, you can outspeed all the really dangerous stuff, and it's like
And also, you can't reduce its attack damage, and it's got a move that's ridiculously strong. The only drawback is that you just can't use it again that turn. You just have to use another ridiculously broken move instead.
And its ability is broken as well. So that's
Yeah,
another
exactly.
thing.
Yeah. They were like, "That was a great Pokemon. What do you let's go."
Just buff it. Just give it mind's eye. Just hit everything.
Yeah,
Just can't
like,
miss.
we'll give you a broken move and a broken ability. Like, how about that?
Yes.
Ursaluna. Do you know what it is?
That's Pokemon. We love that. Yes.
It's
Somebody in the
Ursaluna
background.
who went on an episode of Oprah to get free gifts. It's just like, do you know what we're going to do for you, Ursaluna? We're going to give you a new form. Okay, everyone's clapping. They're like, "Oh, this is so nice. It's so nice." It's just like, do you know what we're going to do for you, Ursaluna? Not only are we going to give you a new form, we're going to give you a new move. That's right. We're going to give you a new move that goes through protects. Like, we're going to give you a new move that goes through ghost types.
Oh, God.
Like, and just to top it off, I'm going to throw in a new ability. That lets you hit ghost types. So,
It's gonna have Calyrex riding it, and it's gonna get like unaware, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it's
Oh my god.
It's literally like I feel like they started with Incineroar, and Pokemon have just gradually gone, how much can we get away with until our fans just go, I give up on the game.
just someone goes up to
Screw
one of the
this.
Game Freak developers and is just like, "Have you ever heard of power creep?" And he went,
They just said,
"No, I've heard of
What?
power
you
broken."
just throw them out the window. We didn't hear about that. What do you mean?
No. Just what did you hear about that? Blood Moon probably got a car as well. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, Blood Moon, like, it's disgusting, absolutely
Mm.
disgusting. And the fact that people are running 252 speed on this Blood Moon, like in Tailwind on Miraidon teams, like, was just was gross. It was so gross. Like, Earth Power, Hyper Voice, Blood Moon, protect, you're set, like you're sorted. Like absolutely, just sit there with your bear, like just put the bear on the field and have fun. Like
It is ridiculously good. I mean, you are right, I think, Azadora, about like just saying it. It's like they just tried to take a Pokemon and just make it as just like broken as possible. I think they even made Reg H just to prove a point that legendary Pokemon are not actually like the barrier anymore. They're like, no, Blood Moon Luna is better than Azelf by about 1,000 times. So like,
yeah,
don't everyone stop complaining about legendary Pokemon, okay? Look how ridiculous these guys are.
They're all like, look at the bear!
It's a bear! It looks like Freddy Fazbear!
oh my god, can we just like have you as like a showman like suit and just be like, ladies and gentlemen, the bear!
It's a bear! And it like, funny thing is it comes out, it'd be all like, yeah, it's broken.
Katie's like, oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh dear. Actually, to be fair, while Captain Oro was mentioning this, I actually did remember the one Pokemon that I had that wasn't the restricted. I just want to quickly talk about Chandelure.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Like, because Chandelure in this regulation I think has actually been really, really solid. Like being put on Zamazenta teams to help support Zamazenta, but also having the access to Trick Room, but also that ridiculously big special attack. You know, Flame Body as well is such a valuable ability, I feel, in this regulation, considering there is a lot of Pokemon in this regulation that is physical. So you can Terra Grass, and you can easily you're walling Urshifus basically quite nicely. Like you've got a really big special attack, so you can do some really good damage. I think Chandelure's just been a very, very good Pokemon in this regulation. It's won a couple of it won a regional, I want to say, with Zamazenta actually, and it also won. It's also won one of the nationals, which me and Barrett really wanted to watch actually, but there wasn't any video of it because it was like Chandelure beat Calyrex Shadow Rider. She was like, "How did you do that? Like, how did your Chandelure beat that?" But yeah. Also, sorry, one last one. Latios. Was the other one I wanted to mention because, of course, it like won its first regional since 2014. I think someone said. I think JD mentioned that, which is like 2014. Like that's mental.
10 years, pretty much.
Yeah. Also, going back to Chandelure, Big Boy Blues just mentioned Flash Fire as well as amazing ability to have to stop other fire Pokemon like Insin coming in and just flare blitzing it. Like, I think those two Pokemon, I think, deserve a little bit of a shout out. I'm not expecting them to win, obviously. I think I would definitely say Chandelure is probably a dark horse, maybe. Yeah, Dread Mambo. Type immunities exist. Blood Moon. Nope, don't care. Blood Moon literally just points to the camera and he's just like, I saw that, and I don't care. He's just like, hello.
Just like, wait. He's like,
The lady. Oh dear. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly shout out Chandelure and Latios there for very good reason. Right, KD, what's your last few Pokemon that you want to mention before we go on to our restricted round?
I had King Gambit on here.
Oh,
Which was I think sort of making a little bit of a comeback because of how popular both Calyrexes are. I think King Gambit does really well into both of them, as well as the amount of Incineroar, of course, with the Defiant, so we get a +1 boost, which is really, really nice. Yeah, I think King Gambit's one of those Pokemon that's just really, really strong and will always be really, really strong. So then another Pokemon I had was Iron Hands. Yeah, just another glue on the team. It's just really, really bulky with the Assault Vest. It has Volt Switch. You can just pivot in and out, and you have Fake Out, etc. So, and then another Pokemon I had was Ogerpon. Ogerpon, I think the three forms. I think the Grass Ogerpon I don't think is going to be used that much, but I think all three forms are quite viable. Ogerpon, Cornerstone, and Heart Flame, and Wellspring. I think all of them have decent chance, I think, at winning as well.
Yeah, Cornerstone definitely sort of this regulation sort of caught everyone's attention, didn't it? Because I mean,
Yeah.
I would definitely say like the last couple of regulations, all of us were sort of saying, well, you're either running the water one or the fire one. Like, I know we saw one regional where someone did turn up with the grass form, but to get to really use advantage of its Defiant, but it was so situational. Like, it was I think they got it going in game 1, but then game 2 and 3, like, we really saw just, you know, it's a situational form. And plus, yeah, you've got Rillaboom. Like, yeah, no, I think, you know, my cousin that doesn't talk to me very often, Iron Hands, you know, Iron Hands is Iron Hands. Like, he's the current world champion from last year. Like you mentioned, ridiculously, but Iron Hands actually, I think, is the best future Paradox Pokemon. Like, it's just ridiculously bulky. It's crazy the amount of stuff that Iron Hands can survive, the Iron Hands can do. Like you mentioned, you can literally just pivot with Volt Switch, sit on the field, fake out. Can't parting shot like Incin, no, like, so we can't go into other anime universes and wreck havoc.
It's taking a little bit longer to Volt Switch in and out, so.
Like, maybe Volt switching into different universes instead.
He's much slower than Incin, so he's always like a little bit behind, you know. He gets
like a few universes behind
just after, and he's like,
I just missed him. Drain punching everything, wild charge, heavy slam as well. Actually, I think heavy slam deserves a mention, just because of how big my boy is. Like, yeah, Iron Hands is ridiculous as well. But yeah, I think. Oh, sorry, and King Gambit. Like, King Gambit's an interesting one, actually, isn't it? Because, I mean, like you mentioned, King Gambit being able to take on both Calyrex forms in a meta right now where it's going to be likely to be Cali versus Cali. Potentially in the final, or potentially just in general, the two standing is going to be who's got to have the best horse. Might turn into an equestrian event. I'm just going to warn you all. You know, which horse can trot the best. King Gambit definitely, yeah, like Sucker Punch, Iron Hands. I mean, can you imagine? Iron Head, Kotal Cleave is ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
Like
100% accurate move.
Yeah.
Cannot miss.
Like,
really
Terra Dark, Kotal Cleave, was it 80 base power?
Yeah,
it's
85.
I think it's 85 base power.
Yeah. So it's a ridiculously high, powerful move with stab. Like, you're cooking, basically. You're absolutely cooking. I definitely would. Yeah, I would say King Gambit. Give that a go. Like, you know, see how far you can go with that.
The other thing you haven't mentioned about King Gambit is there's a great counter into Grimmsnarl, and it gets Brick Break. Yeah, Iron Head and Brick Break.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So, you know, if Grimmsnarl's picking up, we could easily see Brick Break, AV, King Gambit.
Well, we're all doing chop actions there. I'm sorry.
I noticed that.
I'm loving the Toy Story Buzz Lightyear karate chop figure.
Well, you know, as Katsuura was saying that,
that's effectively King Gambit, right?
He was making me think about how well King Gambit matches into almost every Pokemon that we've already mentioned. Like, it goes into Clefairy, it goes into Farigiraf, it does like really good damage to Raging Bolt as well. You know, it actually does do really, really good into all of the Pokemon that we mentioned, and I hadn't even thought about King Gambit. So, Katie, I think that you've got a really good one there. Apart from Iron Hands, which has been seen like a lot less of, unless we see that quick, you know, development, you know, go do the loop fast enough before tomorrow, basically. You know, that is crazy to think that, you know, if we land it right, like there's been a lot of this in Reg G, this kind of looping around. That King Gambit could.
I was going to say they can't edit their teams now, can they?
They can't. Well, I think that you can enter.
I think it's till tomorrow morning, like 7 a.m.
Oh, it's one of those.
That.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So I want to say it was NEIC. Was it NEIC? You had to submit your team at the beginning of the week. There was definitely a regional or a national that people had to submit their teams like on the Monday of the week of the regional.
I think it was like one of the Asian nationals. You had to like pre-submit like freaking months in advance or something. I don't know.
Japan nationals
stupid.
was like 2 weeks before the event.
Yeah, that's
which
crazy.
was mental. But yeah, no, honestly, all great picks. Barrett, is there any left on your lot before we go into restricted?
No, I don't. But Big Boy Blue and Nerd actually made a really good point here. They said that Blood Moon was always one of the Pokemon that basically doesn't go, that could go, it doesn't go into very well there. But I'd say that Terra benefits it so well there as well that like it actually might be able to do okay. I think it probably two-hit KOs a lot of those
Just
fast variants as well.
King Gambit's like, I don't care, I'm gonna flinch you with Iron Heads. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
just gotta get that big noggin of yours. Like, just
Yeah.
flinch it constantly. But yes, I think a lot of good suggestions there from you all. Thank you very much. And I honestly think like one of those Pokemon, at least one of those, are going to be champions. Can you imagine if they actually build a team that has none of those Pokemon we mentioned and just wins it?
Very highly unlikely, I think.
Like,
Yeah.
Fortress World Champion?
Yeah.
Be hilarious.
Explosion Metagross?
Explosion Metagross, let's go. Like,
Polytoad? What?
why are you holding a normal gem there, Metagross? What you're planning? What you doing there, buddy?
Oh no, it's frost.
Articuno? Oh no.
Oh no! Oh, not Chi-Yu. No, not Chi-Yu.
No one's Chiyu is giving you. You run Chiyu on any team, you're gonna get bad luck guaranteed. Like it's
the hatred of Chi-Yu kicks in. For anyone who doesn't know, like, yeah, KD has a very, very deep hatred of this of Chi-Yu. Right, so we're moving on to actually talk about probably the more important part of this conversation. Right, restricted Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a very, very weird regulation this year, I feel, for restricted mons. Because like right at the beginning we thought we had it, like we were like, okay, well here we go, and then like weeks into it we were like, no, it's actually this. And then it was Barrett kind of put this together quite nicely, I felt, in an episode a few weeks ago, where we basically said this is a circle. Like we were at the start, then we went into this restricted, then we went into this one, and then we're back again at the beginning. And then a couple of weeks have come past, a couple of months, has come past since, you know, NAIC. And the clock has turned once more in a direction that no one really predicted, in a sense. Like a couple of tours on Limitless regarding the, you know, road to Honolulu. And Terrapagos and Miraidon, and Zamazenta didn't get top cut. Out of 32 people who were running them, none of them reached the top cut, which I was stunned, quite frankly. I was incredibly... and actually did influence my answer a little bit. You know, because I'm going to start... I'll start the conversation off here. My original answer was going to be Terrapagos as the Pokemon to win Worlds. And the reason why I said this was because I'm going to say the exact same thing that I said a few episodes ago with Barrett. Terrapagos needs to win Worlds. Like, the whole gimmick of Gen 9 is revolving around the turtle. Like, if the turtle can't win at its own gimmick, it's not going to be good. But yes, so Terrapagos needs to win, like, in my opinion. That was my initial thought. But seeing how, like, viability, it's not really worked out that well for Terrapagos recently. I'm a little shaken on my prediction for the turtle. I'm leaning more towards like Miraidon, Zamazenta. Like, as much as I think the Callies are favourites to obviously go far and potentially win it, I think because so many people have been using it recently, we're going to see people then build around to counter them. Right? And that's sort of my argument about the restricted. I don't know, Captain Aura, what's your feelings about restricted Pokemon and who's likely to what?
Yeah, so I've kind of played quite a lot of the restricted this season, just because, you know, I wasn't going to World, so I'd just play them all. If you look at it, obviously the Callies are really strong, but my gut is saying Zamazenta or Kyogre. So I'll start with Kyogre. So Kyogre, for anyone who doesn't know, has obviously had very good top cut results in the tournaments that were mentioned. Also had very good results in Japan as well. and then also it's won the previous 2 ladder seasons with a Calm Mind Grimmsnarl Kyogre set. So it's in a really like, I know it's out there and know people know about it, but I think there's a lot of proficient players playing it, so there could be a very good run for it. And then Zamazenta, like Alex has alluded to, is being a little bit quiet, and I'm kind of like sus of why it's been so quiet, because I
Yeah.
know that players, very good players, who are playing it, and I'm kind of like, are they not entering these tournaments and just focusing on prep against high level players they know instead of outing their team? Because we've also got to remember, sometimes these people will not play in these tournaments with their true team to keep their world team hidden, because they don't want it scouted early if they have some tech that they believe is going to be the game changer, that will win them the tournament.
I actually really want Zamazenta to win. I think it would be an absolute great story for Zamazenta to like win. Just because like Zacian's already had its time, like dominated Generation 8, and Zamazenta was like left on the sideline just sitting around wondering, well, what can I offer? And then like Generation 9 comes around, Zacian's like, well, what can I offer?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, Kyogre's an interesting one as well, actually, because like from the initial view, if you didn't like actually look through the results and look through the actual teams, a lot of people would have just seen Kyogre reaching top cut numerous times. Like a lot of people would have been like, oh yeah, but it was always like top 8 and never really got further than that. But then when you look at it, it's like, oh, actually, like, you know, there's some solid, you know, and like you mentioned, the ladder as well. Like, you know, the Kyogre's on there with the Grims, actually putting the work in as well. It'll be fantastic, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's like a big thing. Like, I think people forget, like, on the day, yes, that Pokemon won that tournament, but you flip it and then that person with that Pokemon wins that tournament. You know, like, it can change day to day. So we could see a real contrast. And obviously, you've always got to take into account in this meta where it's very wide and variety, there are certain matchups that you kind of want to try and avoid, that
Yeah.
you have to have a game plan against. And if your game plan isn't that secure and they can counter it, most likely means you're going to lose against that kind of like, not auto loss, but a bad situation. So
No, I completely agree with you. I do agree. Like, you know, if it wasn't a generation where, you know, you create a Pokemon that's specifically for this gimmick, I would definitely say, yeah, Zamazenta would be my favorite pick to go with. And to be fair, like, we predicted it to win an NAIC. We pretty much picked the entire team for NAIC, but we went with Zamazenta instead of Cali Ice. Like, which was actually quite fun to build as well. I'm not gonna lie. I think Barrett had a whale of a time with that team.
Yeah, it was great. It was arguably better than no, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say it. It was better than the NAIC team, but it was. I will say, I think that was a result of us knowing what all the good Pokemon were and being an indicator of, you know, what this regulation is really about, and then having a restricted Pokemon that just does good against the current good other restricted Pokemon that are being used right now.
Yeah,
which might be an indicator of how things are going to go this weekend, really.
Right, KD. What's your restricted pick? What's your feelings regarding restricted mons this weekend? Is it going to be an equestrian event?
I think honestly, for me, like the Pokemon I've been playing also for the last like few months, it's been Miraidon, and I think if you make the correct calls in the game and you get the turn right, the Miraidon player will have like a huge advantage, right? It's a Pokemon that you have to get the calls right. If you get the calls wrong, you're pretty much most going to be in a very bad position. I think players like Joe, etc., has been playing this Miraidon team with screens, etc. He's been doing insanely well, and he's one of those players that can make the right call, etc. I think he's going to have a really, really good chance, I think, with this Miraidon team to win Worlds, I think, this year.
Yeah. Do you remember right at the beginning of Regulation G, that first regional when everyone like gobsmacked at just how much damage that Miraidon was doing? Like I was laughing my head off watching back on the Monday with my cup of tea, doing my work at home, just having Wolf Glick and Aaron Cybertron Zane on my television, just absolutely losing their minds, being like, "No, what are you doing, Miraidon? That's too much damage." It was so much fun. Like, it's crazy though, isn't it? It's like Miraidon, you're either OHKOing things or they're nearly dead.
Or they're Among Us.
Yeah.
I mean, even Among Us drops to Draco Meteor, so it's like,
exactly.
like even the strongest things, the strongest defensive things, just dropped Draco. It's of course if you hit, that's also another thing.
There's things that literally. Sorry, go for it.
The game in Bologna where the guy just clicked Draco Meteor turn 1 and helping hand, and then turn 2 click Draco Meteor helping hand, and just KO. And it's like the guy was just like, I don't have a team anymore.
My team's gone.
It literally it is a very Dragon Ball moment. Like Miraidon comes onto the fields and everyone's like, "Oh, that power level doesn't look very high, does it?" And it's just, just oh my god, everyone's dead.
Everyone gives it its energy and its spirit bombs and puts death.
What do you mean you're getting up? Oh dear. But yeah, no, it's crazy just how stupid amount of damage the Miraidon can do. And like, yeah, I think, KD, you're absolutely right. Putting it in the position where it could work, you could steamroll in a heartbeat. Like, and I feel like we saw that in previous formats. Nothing like this, though. Like, no,
I don't think we had a thing like this. Like, where you literally can just click a button and then something just dies. It's like, I mean, I guess Station had that with Behemoth Blade, but then you had to predict which Pokemon to Dynamax.
Exactly. I mean, it's the same when we were running Psy-Spam, right? Like, we were like, oh, well, we have to have the Pokemon in front of us, like, to make it work. Like, Miraidon doesn't even have to have that. Like, Miraidon just turns up on the field and he's like, yeah, I'll kill you.
Goodbye.
Like,
fake out. We're gonna have to stop priority, etc. It's crazy.
The Pokemon is literally
the speed tier as well is crazy. Like,
oh yeah,
of course it's gonna be speed tying. I don't know what most Miraidon I think now are going timid. I think, but even then, it's like you're still gonna be, if you're playing Miraidon Mirror, it's probably gonna be either like a speed tie or it's gonna be a lot of calls. It's a lot of 50-50s every single turn, so it's gonna be really, really difficult. And the people that can that can like take advantage on that will probably win that matchup most of the time.
Well, exactly. I mean, Big Boy Blue pointed it out here. Just Miraidon OHKOing Incin with Volt Switch, and like, all of us were like, "Oh, hang on, like,
hold on a minute."
That's not good.
I mean, like choice specs like modest Miraidon is like a 405 special attack in the electric terrain, so it's like that is insane.
Yeah, like get all the ground types.
That's why as soon as that region was over, you could see everyone shifting straight to ground Terra on like so many Pokemon just to stop Miraidon. Then it has to move like Draco Meteor, and it's like, nice Terra, but you're still just gone.
Like that was neat.
even the Calyrex Ice in random double battles became Terra ground after that regional championship when Miraidon won.
That's crazy.
It changed in game. I've never seen the random double battles format change so drastically based on VGC results, actually, because they suddenly went, oh, hang on a minute, this Terra ground works really well. This Calyrex Ice is so crazy.
Would we then say like the influence of Miraidon right in that first regional changed the landscape of this regulation?
Yeah,
I'd say so. Yeah,
I would say yes, but everybody was hard countering Calyrex, so that opened up the space for Miraidon to win the first regional, and it's why it took Calyrex so long to get the first regional win, and then we saw it later on build up stage because everyone went, well, we've now got this electric dragon we need to counter, and then Zamazenta popped up and it was like, we need to counter this now, and it eventually fell away where Calyrex was like, oh, it's my time now, let's go.
Let's go.
It's so true.
I was going to say, I did not care I was running a Miraidon team. I built a Miraidon team before that win, and I built Miraidon Snow, and then everyone went Terra Ground. I was like, This is fantastic.
Perfect.
I'm
Thank you
just
very
going to
much.
Blizzard. Let's go.
Perfect.
So
I just called them terroring it. Volt switched out onto the Pokemon and then brought in Ninetales and went Blizzard with bundle. And I was like, cool.
yeah, thank you very much for your time. Like, so what was it? I was trying to remember. Like, oh yeah, it was. I think me and Barrett. I think the week before the first Regulation G tournament happened. On that episode, we were saying like, you know, oh, it's going to turn into a dressage event. It's going to be everyone showing off their horses, like, you know, doing the trots and all of this, and just like realizing that Miraidon winning just made it so like everyone's showing off their horse, and there's the Miraidon user like showing off, you know, trying to copy the horses.
Yeah.
Just running on his bike, just coming around.
Yeah.
You guys are riding horses. I'm riding a motorcycle from the future, guys.
Yeah. And it's just like, you know, the judges be like, "That's a very unusual looking horse you've got there, sir." And it's just, you know, oh,
All
this
of
is
the jokes.
this is Miraidon.
Hey,
So he ate some good sandwiches. He's ready.
He's ate some good sandwiches. I hope they were good, freshly made. Only the finest ingredients around Paldea.
Well, they were cooking because he did win. So
Yeah, true.
He had electric terrain. He didn't need to cook.
No,
That's his form of cooking. Barrett, have you got any closing thoughts on the restricted? Have you got a prediction as to which restricted's going to win?
well, I do, and I don't want to be too boring.
Oh, here we go.
But I am. Well, but to be fair as well, I will say
He's going to pick Cosmo.
it's just the obvious choice at this point. No, the thing that I was wondering was actually, so Captain Aura, you mentioning Kyogre makes me really happy because I very early on predicted that Kyogre would actually be quite good. And I mean, you could go back in the Discord server, you can look back at some of the really old stuff that I was posted even pre-Reg G, and it was Calm Mind Kyogre with, you know, with loads of like healing support and stuff like that. And I'm just really glad that is now picking up and actually doing well. And Alex called really early on, like pre-Reg G season, that Miraidon would do really, really well. And it was even after the team adaptation changed and everyone moved away from the Paradox Mons. I'm really glad to see that like both of you guys have ended up picking the things that me and Alex both predicted right at the beginning of the podcast would do really well. So I think that's really cool. But unfortunately, I'm going to say Cataracts Shadow Rider is probably going to win. The only reason I say that is because you both brought up a really, really good point, which is...
Hang on, let me know when he's finished.
It's the idea that there are these teams, these good teams that have popped up around these restricted Pokemon have done really well. And, well, we've realised all the teams do really well with Incineroar and Rillaboom on it, and Raging Bolt. And if you just put them on all of them, every restricted Pokemon does really well. But you do have to acknowledge that Cataracts Shadow Rider does do that just a tiny, tiny bit better. It's just it has a little bit more adaptability, I think. So anyway, guys, now that we're all ready for bed, we can wake up bright and early for Pokemon Worlds tomorrow, where Cataracts Shadow Rider will come in and touch all in again.
I'm sorry to pop Porygon plush. I misled you.
Look how cute that is.
Calyrex Mid Rider. I love that. Let's quickly talk about the Callies. They're favorites for reasons, aren't they? Like they're two sides of the same coin. They're the yin and yang to each other. There is no. I don't think you cannot build for this without thinking about how to handle the Callies. I think it's unavoidable. Really, you're going to have to think about it when you're team building.
But it's like we've mentioned with our non-restricted picks. There's a reason why Urshifu, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Raging Bolt are the top picks right now, because you look at those four, you look at the top restricted and go, what do I need to answer? And you go, those four do it.
Yeah.
And then I can slap on something else to support if I need Tailwind or if I need Trick Room Control, or it's like you kind of put those four, go, what do I want from my restricted, and then go, what speed control do I need, and just pop it on.
Yeah.
And that will be a solid team. You'll easily, get to master bull rank every season on car, and you'll do well elsewhere. So
No, 100% agree. 100% agree. Like, it's crazy though, isn't it? Like, I want to say this regulation, this World Championships, is actually quite open field. I'm actually quite looking forward to watching this weekend. Which, by the way, you can watch with us tomorrow night on Twitch and on Discord. If anyone does, you guys are obviously welcome to join if you're not busy. Hopefully, I'll be doing the Saturday lot as well. I'm not too sure about Sunday though, but we'll figure it out when we can. But if people do want to watch Worlds, obviously, please, the Discord's there for anyone who wants to have little watch parties and all of that jazz. I'll be around tomorrow night probably to watch a few. And just to mention as well, because it's in Hawaii, like we mentioned right at the start of this episode, it is going to be very, very late starting. I think, KD, you mentioned it's like 9 o'clock in Europe. 9 o'clock at night in Europe, 8 o'clock for us in Europe, and then in the UK. 8 p.m.
in the UK.
Yeah, and then it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon in America, going up to 2 o'clock in the afternoon over there as well. So yeah, it's going to be a late one. It's going to be a late weekend, but I think we're going to have a bit of fun. I think we'll have some fun, regardless.
I think it's going to be one of the best. I think it's going to be one of the best worlds I think we've had, like as of recent. I think
it's definitely got that potential, hasn't it? Like,
yeah, at least potential wise, like anything can really win. Of course, maybe not like Giratina or something or Solgaleo, but like the players that are playing the restricted Pokemon are like probably some of the best players we've seen like
in a while,
honestly, like ever.
Yeah. This year is stacked. Shout out, of course, to Dread Mambo, to Shortbread Dread. Anything with Dread in it, like, yes. Maybe that's where we're going wrong, isn't it? Should we just change our name to Iron Dread 404, Captain Dread, Dread C9, K Dread VGC,
K Dread VGC.
I think also what KD said is it's quite exciting in terms of like the established players, but going back to last year's Worlds where we had a very unestablished player make it all the way to the final.
Yes. Yeah.
And this season we also had Pat Connors. In the previous season we had Justin Tang do well. So there's so much quality, even in the players that aren't known. That like if you're at Worlds, just go for it. Like actually just give it your all. See if you can do it. Like if you don't
drop out.
You're playing in the field of the best players in the world on that current season.
Don't drop out. You've qualified for Worlds. Enjoy it. This is your moment. This is for, you've made it to Worlds. That's your bragging. Like, you're at Worlds. Take it in. Just enjoy everything. Just take in as much information as you can. Just take each round as you can. Just go as far as you can. Like, it's gonna be fantastic, and I do agree with you, Captain Aura. I think this year we have been spoiled on the quality of Pokemon battles that we've seen this year. The format has been such a joy to watch. I think me and Barrett especially have enjoyed just talking about it on this podcast. And obviously I want to say, just before we move on to the final segment of the night, I think all of us should give a massive thank you to the staff of Play Pokemon and also the volunteers and the judges at the events, whether you're at local, whether you're regional, whether you're national, or at Worlds. Thank you so much for giving all these people opportunities just to play a game that they love and wanted to meet new people and create safer environments for people to do this in. I think everyone should give their thanks at the end of this weekend. I know they post like I think Play Pokemon do like a photo at the end of the event every year for the staff and, judges. So I think all of us should just give a massive thank you to that. And then obviously, we all focus on Regulation H and we all move forward to seeing next season and seeing how we progress with that. But, and obviously thank you to all of you, people who have watched this podcast, people who have been part of our Discord, people who have participated in our events over the year, people who have joined us in Discord, people from the YouTube as well. Shouldn't forget about them. The YouTube lot. Thank you very much for that. Then thank you guys as well for joining us in these podcasts. Like, because I know it's like more of a, we would love to make this the biggest thing possible. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
like but create a new channel to rival the BBC or something. I don't know.
One
Sky
day.
Sports, look out. But no, honestly, I think this is a lovely moment where we can all just literally turn around to each other and just say thank you for the year that we've had, and you're welcome.
You know what, Big Bird Blue, you have made it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys, honestly. But yes, so I think now it is the final segment where actually it's a celebration of this past year of Pokemon with a little cheeky awards. We asked you lot in Discord about nominations for numerous categories that we've put together.
The Corviknights Awards 2024 season. Unrestricted Pokemon of the Year nominations were Dragonite, Raging Bolt, Rillaboom, and Hisuian Arcanine, and Ogerpon. And the winner is Raging Bolt.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
And now the My Best Friend Award nominations. Iron Hands.
Oh.
Fluttermane. Golden
Is that why you just felt us in?
Hisuian Gudra. Urshifu. And the winner of My Best Friend.
Oh. Hey.
Fluttermane.
Another well-deserved winner.
Fluttermane.
She's fun to lads. Underrated Pokemon of the Year. Pelipper. Gouging Fire. Araquanid. Galarian Moltres. And Annihilate.
So emotional, this.
And the winner is...
Oh, screw you, man.
Ah,
No, I can't believe it made Top Cut Award. Articuno. Latios. Serena. We couldn't believe it. Avalon. And Iron Trace.
He rolls.
Friends, he rolls.
And the winner is... Articuno. They deserve it. But now, our final award. Restricted Pokemon of the Year, as chosen by the beautiful people at the London Corviknights. Nominated Calyrex Shadow Rider and Calyrex Ice. Kyogre. Miraidon. And Terrapago. And the winner of Best Restricted Pokemon of 2024, as voted for by your community,
Ah, there we go.
is Terrapago.
Wait, what?
And Calyrex Shadow.
Oh, well done. Wait, what?
Calyrex
What?
and Miraidon.
What?
Everyone.
You were lucky enough.
No!
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
The
God.
four-way tie. Jesus Christ.
We actually had a
Oh,
four-way
God.
tie.
Yeah, the
That's
four-way tie.
insane. Oh my goodness.
So there we have it, guys. There we have it. As chosen by the beautiful people at the London Corviknights. If you would like to join in and have your say in the next of our beautiful discussion topics or any of the things we have on our Discord, please jump into our Discord server and you can have your say on what the best Pokemons in the format are.
I'm still a little stunned the fact that the restricted award went to a 4-way tie, basically everything except Kyogre, and we spent like some of the episode tonight hyping Kyogre up.
I know. The funniest thing was looking at it and going, "Oh my god, Terravagos and Calyrex Shadowrun are tied. That's mental." And then I looked at it, like I started making the video, and I got to that point, and I looked back at it later on and went, "Oh wait a minute, no,
That's actually crazy."
I had to add that bit on at the end because I had actually not noticed until I'd already almost finished the video. There was a 4-way tie.
That's actually
so funny, honestly.
That is hilarious. I mean, is there any surprises for you guys in that video? I don't think there was for me, honestly.
I think the only surprise I think is Avalugg.
Yes,
was like that's like the only one that's like I didn't know that top guy. That's Overwood. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't.
I
know
want to say
that.
that was the actual first Regulation G regional as well. That
Yeah.
Avalugg got day 2.
Wow.
Like was very crazy times. Like
That's
you know,
crazy, yeah.
when it's a fresh new format, literally anything goes, really, right?
Yeah, true.
Obviously,
True,
you know,
true.
Fluttermane winning by best friend.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah,
Amazing.
turned up while I was ill, and I was like, "Ah, my new best friend,"
And it worked.
and it worked clearly.
I guess.
Right, I am aware of the time and whatnot. We are coming up to the 2-hour mark, which is quite a nice stopping point, I think, Barrett, is it not?
That is perfect. Actually,
That is perfect.
I will throw all the links to everything
Oh,
in the
thank you
chat right
so
now.
much for doing that.
And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that in the description.
Right, so I guess last thing to do is our thank yous, and basically, do we talk about what we're going to try and do for season 2, or should we do that for another thing?
I'll probably put an official announcement out.
Yeah,
on
we'll do
the
an official
Discord
announcement for that. That's fine.
to let everyone know. But we're kind of wrapping up now, and we're
Yes.
working on the official launch of season 2 now. So be excited.
So just as an FYI, you probably won't see another Corviknight podcast episode till September.
Not live, but there will be edited
But there will be
episodes coming
stuff
very
on
soon.
YouTube. Be on the lookout for that. Obviously, thank you to everyone in the London Corviknight Discord for the past year. You all have been amazing. Thank you so much to London Corviknight Elite 4.
I know. I
oh,
just saw that.
that's pretty cool. I take that. I take that. The Corviknight's obviously the champion.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, thank you to everyone in the London Corviknight community. Thank you to everyone actually in general, like in the Pokemon community. You all have been absolutely amazing people this past year. Thank you very much, Captain Oro, KD, for being our guests, not once but twice. You guys are amazing content creators. We obviously want nothing but the best for you in the next season, whatever your hopes and dreams of that might be. Thank you, Barrett, for being amazing as my co-host throughout this season of Pokemon. I don't think I could have done any of this without you, honestly, buddy. Like, you know, when you proposed this idea, right when we were doing the just random Discord training sessions that we were doing for people, and you just went, "Oh, Alex, I kind of really want to do a podcast with you," and I was like, "All right, give me a document of what you think we can do with it," and basically you pitched it perfectly for us, and like I can't think of anything that makes my smile bigger than doing this podcast on a weekly basis with you, buddy.
Mate.
Sorry, Danny proposed the podcast. Danny.
And I think we should also, I mean, a big thank you to Alex as well for, you know, helping us all out with all of this. You know, he's kept it going while I've not been able to as well. The guy, it really does carry the show. So obviously, none of us would be here without the brilliant IMAC404 as well. So thank you to you,
Dude. Like, you're too kind. You really are too kind. Other shout outs to other Discords, Little Root Rumble. Please go give them a watch. They're still doing weekly podcast episodes. You should check them out. You know, fantastic stuff going on over there. Obviously, check out Victory Road as well for all of your content needs. Make sure you follow these guys on Twitter. Shout out as well to everyone competing at Worlds this year. Please enjoy yourself. Please don't drop. Don't cheat as well. Like, please don't hack your Pokemon and enjoy this moment. Shout out to Shortbread Dread, to Dread Mambo, to every other player you know that is competing this weekend, go give them a good luck tomorrow morning. Go give them as much love as you can. Pokemon is a better community when we're all in this together. And I think like that cannot be said truer than this community right here. You all are absolutely amazing. But that is the end of season 1 of this Corviknight podcast. We will be back like next year with you all. Next month. Like, oh my god,
year, I go, whoa.
I am going to speak to the admins about putting a Limitless tour together. For some point within the next month. So, you know, there will definitely be content out there on the Discord. We are continuing with the Regulation H weekly tour as well. We'll probably make that Limitless tour actually a Regulation H one as well. Why not? Yeah, considering Reg G practically dies this weekend. Is Calyrex Shadow Rider the Grim Reaper? Like, that is also the question. But you all are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for all the subs and the gifts that you've given us tonight. You all are fantastic. Thank you so much to every single one of you. I can't list all of you out because I think we'll be here for another half hour. But yes, we'll be back next month. Hopefully bigger, better, brighter. And you know, we cannot wait to continue this lovely little ride with all of you. You guys are amazing. Once again, thank you so much to my co-host Barrett. Thank you very much to Katie and Captain Oro for joining us tonight as our special guests, our awesome Elite Four guests. I should probably point that out now. You guys are Elite Four members. Again, thank you all very much for joining tonight. You guys are amazing. Much love. Do look after yourselves. Enjoy Worlds. Join us tomorrow, hopefully, on Discord to watch some Worlds with us. But just, yeah, enjoy yourselves. Like, have a big, massive smile on your face whenever you can. Much love to you all. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Ursaluna stole my sandwiches.